Hello guys, Satsuma Benja here and welcome to Minecraft. Today I've got something special because I'm going to be building a redstone computer. You saw probably Aiden's less than practical contraptions in which I showed off a redstone SSD. Technically it wasn't an SSD, it's a registry, but nevertheless I'm basically going to be rebuilding that little section today, as it's going to be a registry in a full-size Minecraft CPU made entirely out of redstone. So let's get going. Now, I started off trying out this new method to do with droppers popping items into each other. Well, it's been around for a little while now, since the hopper patch I think, but I started off trying to do this for my RS latch, and I've got no idea what I was doing, so I just decided to abandon that almost immediately. And then I went back to the good old tried and tested redstone torch RS latch, feeding into each other like that. And a lot of you have probably seen it just made out of redstone wires with an extra gap in the middle, making it 3x3, but if you put a repeater in it, then the wires don't interfere with each other, you can make it 2x2. So now I just stick 8 of these latches next to each other to get one byte of memory. That's basically the core of any registry unit in a real computer. You need an RS latch in a real computer to act as your memory, and you set and reset your bytes into it. So I actually spent most of this video trying to figure out where all my wires are going to go, because I need an explicit set, an explicit get, and explicit resets for each byte of memory. See, they can't, even though it might be stored properly with the RS latches, the RS latch will just always be giving an output. So I need to AND-gate the output to basically tell it, okay, if I want this output, then give it me, rather than just giving it me all the time, because that'll be heading into the data bus, which is where I need lots of other things to go. So I do redesign this a little bit quite a lot, just thinking about where I'm going to put things and how they're going to go. See, what I'm trying to build down there at the moment is a reset. It's the reset belt. Reset belt? Close enough. That heads under the opposite end of the RS latches, and I'm trying to avoid using repeaters in this kind of style where it feeds across, because it builds a delay going across the bits, and I'd rather not do that. I'd rather have all the bits activate or deactivate at once, because then there's less chance of things going wrong if the bus, like the data bus, turns on halfway through an operation, or it turns off halfway through an operation. If all the bits are activated up together, there's going to be no splitting, no tearing, that's the word. You ever had that, where you, like a really old computer monitor, like load half a video top and then load the next frame on the bottom, and tear the screen? You have to excuse me, I'm a little bit croaky today for some reason. Might be due to the fact that I've just got up. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change it into redstone rather than using the repeaters, so that I'm not getting the tearing kind of mechanism across it. And to do that, I need the redstone to not be powered by any other devices, which is why I've got rid of those repeaters from the RS latches there. And then I just decided to redesign the output anyway. It's kind of weird though, because even though I built the entire thing, it's a little odd looking at because this is post recording, by the way. Try to do the voice after all this. Okay, But yeah, what I'm doing here is I've built a little AND gate on the back, and I'm taking the input to that AND gate through all the different blocks, which is really interesting because I'm managing to power it by sending the current through all the blocks what wires are already sat on top of and repeaters are sat on top of, but it's perfectly fine because it's either blocked by another block or the repeater in front of it. It's really clever, very good usage of space there. You see on the left there I've got two repeaters, one heading into a block that's got a repeater on top of it, which heads into a redstone torch. So they are both coming from two different inputs and they do not interfere with each other. So what I'm doing here is I'm just, there we go, you can see that redstone torch heads into the top repeater. So now I'm designing the, I believe this is another attempt at the reset, because what's out there at the back now is the get, because I got rid of the reset track. So that bit with the four repeaters, sorry, sat kind of on top of each other, is the get track. So whenever I activate that, it'll send me the output from the memory. In theory that's hopefully. I'll come back to redesign this a little bit later as well, make it a tiny bit faster. One thing when building a project that's going to be this kind of size is that you really need things to be quite quick, because there's just so much that's going on. It's so easy that it gets slowed down just by one repeater somewhere. Ooh, never mind that, sorry guys. So if you try and put in as few repeaters going across the circuits as possible, it really does help. Okay, so that's the reset track at the top. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to power the entire thing, because it's a little bit too long. So the power kind of needs to be added in the middle, really. But now I can't actually power that redstone torch underneath for the input. So if we try and, if we block off the input from the reset track, then I can try and figure out how to power the reset track at some other point. I think what I'll do is I just stick one repeater in the middle. It's a slight tearing, but hopefully it shouldn't be that too much. It's just a single tick between two nibbles. There we go, there goes the repeater between the two nibbles. Nibble is 4 bits, by the way, half a byte, if you don't know. So now what I'm doing is I'm building a second registry unit on top of it, because I think I'm going to have about 4 or 8 of these stacked on top of each other, because I need to store all the data to do the calculations in the CPU. But it's no good designing a registry if they can't be compact and fit together. So what I'm trying to do is try to fit the two registries together on top of each other as close as I can possibly get them. Another problem with building a project this size is that if it's too large, then all the redstone is in like different chunks, and computer gives priority to the ones you're closest to, and some chunks just won't be loaded in. So you've got to try and keep it all nice and tucked in close together as well. At this point I realised that those redstone torches don't actually need wire on top of them, because the wire was there from someone previously and I changed what was powering them. So now I'm just copying what's down below and building it up here. Like that. Sorry, I'm not very good at post-recording narratives, am I? Fortunately, it was about 12 o'clock at night that I recorded most of this. From about 11 till 12, it's about an hour long video. Recorded at 5 frames per second and sped up 3 times. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to decrease the amount of time taken as much as I can by removing some of the repeaters, but I can only remove the front row because I need it to not interfere with some of what's behind it. top repeat what goes into powering the redstone torch. If the redstone torch turns off, then the repeater is actually powering the block, and it's going to power the redstone what's underneath it. So I need a repeater on. I need at least a repeater underneath it to stop that from happening. I think I'm just checking out, making sure it all looks fine here. Building the reset track for the one on the top. Repeatering the nibble. At this point, the day-night cycle's doing me heading a little bit. Now I have a small problem of making the set track, because I need to AND-gate the input. Otherwise, if I send an input to one of the modules, it's going to set the data on all of them. In fact, it's not even just a set. It's a the set what I use is more of an AND, because it's just powering one side of the RS latch. So to do a proper set, I activate the reset circuit and then activate the AND set circuit. I do apologise about my voice. It's been quite a while since I've recorded, and I suppose I'm not quite used to it, a little bit croaky. But yeah, I've just tried to build a AND gate on the top module. But I think most of my time went into this top module, well, into this set, because I am really running out of room now that I've put these two so close to each other. You see, I can't actually build it further down. I can't build it for the bottom module because they'll interfere with each other, I don't think. Yeah, the top track, what's going in there is the AND. That's basically the control logic, what's going to tell it to set, and then this bottom track with all the repeaters on here is the actual input from the data bus. I'm just trying to replicate that on top, but we have a problem. That redstone torch, what's right there, is now powering the input tracks for the module above. So I need to pretty much get rid of all of that and redesign it. I went for about 3 or 4 attempts to redesign this track. Can't remember what I was testing there, but apparently I was testing something. See, the main problem with doing a really large project like, well, I've said the main problem, I've said 3 of those now. Another problem with building a really large project like this is that you kind of either have to plan it all, and to plan it all, really you've just got to try and build it all, or you've just got to do trial and error, which is the same sort of thing, really. But you do spend quite a fair amount of time just getting rid of the same bits and putting them back in again to try and fit them around somewhere else. I'm trying to extend that circuit out there so I can actually put the AND gate further back so it's not tucked under the excuse me, so it's not tucked into the other tracks. In the end, I do actually do something really simple. It's pretty much just a standard linear AND gate. I'm rather surprised that I didn't think of it before, to be honest. Okay, I can tell that that weren't the final product. Yeah, I think that again is a little too large and it will collide if I take it onto the upper module. Yeah, that track with the redstone, that block on the bottom is too low down because the track with the redstone on top will block it. This is the final design, I think. Got some redstone going into the torch like that, and the repeater heading into it on the bottom. It's two tracks sat right on top of each other. Quite surprised it took me so long to think of that. But these things happen with everything, don't they? Just stick a repeater on all of those. Stick some redstone coming out of it. Create the AND track on the top. Put a repeater on each of those, apparently. Oh yeah, the repeater on each of those is to stop the current from the inputs heading back up, and the repeaters on the bottom ones are to send it into the block so that the redstone's powered. Although I think I've replaced them for torches, for redstone wire at some point. Yeah, there we go. Replace them for redstone wire because again it's just about that timing thing. If I can get it to be one tick quicker, then we're rocking. This is almost the first module finished. There we go, there's the input. So the input is actually the input and the AND gate are actually a fair bit higher than most of the logic for that track. But they do activate that track and that for that register. I mean, they do only work for that register and they don't interfere with the ones above or below it. So now I'm just going to replicate what I've built on the bottom module on this top one here. There's the input ones with the torches on. That's going to have set everything in the register. I'll need to reset that later. Start of the AND gate, is it? Nope. Yeah, that's the bottom half of the AND gate. That's the input side of the AND gate. This is the set side. Stick the repeaters in to stop backwards interference. I'm really fussy about not having blocks where they don't really need to be. If I can clearly tell that there's a block that doesn't need to be there, then I can use it to put other bits of redstone in. Get rid of some of the crap out of my inventory, see a bit better. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out where on earth I put all my wires. I've got no idea where they are. That's that's the get, I think. Oh, they're the resets, sorry. Gets at the front there, or in the middle there, and that's the set. However, I forgot that most of these are actually active by default and deactive when they're high. So the set was deactive when it's high, the reset is active when it's high. The get is deactive when it's high, so I need to just put a redstone torch in each of those. see, I just stick a torch on that to flip the input, showing our height to get. Same to this one here. Height to set. Then I decided I don't actually need that repeater there, and just do one close to it with the redstone torch. Then for some reason I just got fussy taking those out. I don't know. There it is. That's one. I've only put the buttons on the bottom ones, but there we go. 2 registry modules fitting together quite nicely. And thanks for watching.